everybody. I am so excited for tonight. Okay, tonight is about Georgia, and tonight is about all the momentum we're seeing across the country of people who have never run for office before stepping up and getting involved. There's momentum behind this movement. This was not just about 2020. This was about building a better country together. And women are stepping up, like my guest tonight. I am here at my in-laws' different background here tonight because my parents, who are from Georgia, have come to visit because they are fully vaccinated. And so my house is complete grandparent chaos. But so I've come over to my in-laws to host my guest tonight, who has stepped up in the biggest way to run against Marjorie Taylor Green in the 14th Congressional District of Georgia. Holly, are you here with me? Can I bring you straight on?
And hi,
Holly. Oh my goodness. My fellow mom, my fellow redheaded sister, Georgia native, you know, as I also love to claim my Georgia roots. Welcome to the show. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you guys, this is how it happened. Holly announces last week, I'm going to run for Congress. Yes, I am going to run for Congress against Marjorie Taylor Green. And I see her on CNN. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Look her up on Facebook just to find out who is this woman. And what is the first thing I see? That she is in our Facebook group, like in our national community of women who are stepping out, you know, joining arms, linking together to build community, to get things done together. And I was like, okay, so I like this woman already. I need to invite her to. So thank you for responding to my message.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited to meet all these women.
Oh, they are ready for you. Holly, okay. Tell us, what has the last week or so been like since announcing? What response are you getting? Like, has life changed a little bit?
A little bit, yes. It has been overwhelming in a good way. I thought going into this, you know, I'd have a few people that were supportive. Obviously, my team is very supportive and came in early when they didn't think I was crazy. They just jumped right in. I think they're crazy too, so it fits. But, you know, I spoke to my family first, but then the overwhelming response of women and everybody, but especially women, having that reaction of this chick can do this. Like, she's just like me, you know. I'm a mom and I struggle and I have all of those things that happen, and of course Marge is plenty of people would like to do this. And so when she's in my district. She's supposed to be representing my district. So I was like, you know what? We're doing it. But it's been crazy. It is weird. We're having to train my family. My team is having to train me on, dude, you don't have to answer your phone every time. You don't have time for that anymore. You know, talk to my mama and everybody else way early or way late at night. And got a personal assistant. Praise the Lord. She is saving my life. I love her. She's my Karen. And so like training the kids and the husband and everything, and everybody's stepping up in such a huge way to make this possible. So it's been an adjustment.
It sounds like it a little bit, but you are adjusting. I mean, that's what you do. But yeah. I mean, what is it, do you think, about you? Because this is something we all have in common. Like, as moms trying to instill good values in our kids, you have people like Marjorie Taylor Green run for Congress, and you know, the terrible disservice, not just the rhetoric, but you know, everything, the conspiracy theories, just so not anything we want on TV if our kids are in the room.
No.
And just so much bad in terms of consequences it could be for our country. But like, what is it about you, Holly, that you're like, I'm going to be that. I'm going to be the woman who steps up and actually does this and doesn't just, you know, while I'm washing dishes and listening to her on the news get pissed.
Right. Well, I mean, I was fighting mad for like the rest of you when I would see one of her antics, every other day. But I've always been the person that shows love. Like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want mushy words. You show up. And so that's what we're really making a big focus for this, because I wanted to be the example first for my kids, like you mentioned, that we want. I'm losing my voice. I would beat this into them. I wouldn't beat them, but the Southern, how we talk. I didn't beat them, but to be kind first. And you're supposed to show up for people, and even if you're not the one bullying, by God, you stop the bully. And so that's how I've raised them. And so how can I watch this lunatic in our district doing this? And it kind of just was like, we've got to figure out how we're going to do it, how we're going to make it work safely so that my family is safe. And then just how are we going to do it? Not are we really? And so I had to let them get used to that. But I don't know. I think it's a little bit of crazy that I finally just said, okay, I'm going to do it. And so it's, that's it, because my language is acts of service. So it makes sense to me to just jump into it.
And it seems like you had an example for that. I knew you grew up with your dad was in the Army.
Yes.
This is the first time you've kind of taken the bulls by the horn. You are a small business owner. I understand you got into that for very, personal, mission-driven kind of reasons as well. So how do you sort of connect that maybe to your personal story? We just want to know, about you and where you're coming from on this.
Yeah. Actually, I hadn't thought about that way, just because that's just how I've always been. But it probably is growing up an Army brat that made that part of my personality. But my grandparents, my papa was a milkman his whole adult life, and he was dirt poor growing up. I think he had 12 total brothers and sisters. So he was not well off at all, but he saved every dime and he worked really hard, and he did really well for himself and investments and everything else. And 2 years before he died, he was scammed by an investor that was supposed to be an investor and lost $750,000, something like that. Anyway, so my nanny, life for her is way different now. So obviously that's gone to, it's been prosecuted. But we did it to a lot of families, a lot of older folks. And so it changed Nanny's life, from now on. And then Papa died. And so that's when I got really heavy into helping people with their retirement and with their savings, with their planning and life insurance and all that jazz. But that's why I got into that. And so, that is a service thing to help people, just because if they had somebody like me to educate and to help them make a great decision instead of a scammer, obviously that wasn't any part of that, then things would look a lot different for my nanny now. So, and she's 85, I think, about to be 86. So
showing up for people is a consistent theme in your life. I think that prepared you, it seems like, to do that maybe in a good way now. So here's, Holly, I think a lot of people are wondering, what's going on in this district? They know that, I think the numbers thrown around a lot of the times that Marjorie Taylor Green won the district by something like 75%. But she please have your drink. She did not even have an opponent come election day.
Right.
And, I know that Northwest Georgia, your district, is changing. And so I think what people want to know simply is, how can a Democrat win in the Georgia 14th?
Yep, definitely. Well, first, I know we can win. The good work that Stacey has done in the last 10 years, and the fact that we just elected John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. And I hate that was covered up by January 6th. Cheers.
We didn't miss it. We were all working for it We were
I
all
know. It was so huge. And I hate that it got covered up by that. But this good work it wasn't fast, and it's been happening for years. And so it's going to take education. It's going to take community work. And the first thing that we're doing is our listening tour that starts in 2 weeks. And we're going to go around to each county, and we are going to let people tell us what has been ignored forever, so that we can serve the people, And so there's been a void in leadership for so long, that somebody that will stand up for them and to get things done and actually do it and show up. I think that it's going to transcend party lines. And especially I'm looking at it, and that we are Americans. I am from here. I was a baby here. I've got a large network here of people that have seen me grow up, and in the region. We're like a stone's throw from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I grew up in both places. But you know that you're from nearby.
I grew up going to Chattanooga.
Yeah. People that are from further away, they act like it's a whole other thing. And I was like, it's right down the road. Right. But I think that they're going to see me as a person, And so my more lofty goal is to change the conversation, because on both sides, I feel like surely everyone is sick to death of this left and right thing. We're not getting any good work done. I mean, there is good work done, but man, can you imagine how much faster it would be if we weren't bickering? So
Holly, how do you show up? I love that you're doing a listening tour. I mean, so often just we talk instead of listen first. And I love that, I think that's part of the reason why, like, more women stepping up into leadership, especially, like leading with that listening and empathy and vulnerability. I mean, I am here for this.
Yes.
In your district, where obviously, however, I don't know the numbers, however many people did vote for Marjorie Taylor Green, and maybe many of them have regrets, and maybe others don't, and maybe others feel somewhere in between. Mm-hmm. A lot of women in our community have differences within their community, within their friends and family. And we talk a lot about, how do you have these conversations, And, I know that I'm pretty convinced that, we have to lead with our values, we have to lead with our hearts, that there's no statistic or single fact, that is going to change everything for anyone we know. And it sounds like you are all about showing up for people. How do you think about approaching conversations with people who may not be fully aligned with you?
I actually have a cool story, and it was before I announced, and I'm glad for that, that this came beforehand, so that it gave me a little bit more understanding. Well, first, exactly what you say about approaching it with empathy. And I'm from a more conservative family. Mm-hmm. And so I'm used to these conversations in the first place. Yep. But I always love hearing and listening. And I think when we do listen, we can learn. That doesn't mean taking misinformation and acting like that's a talking point, because we're not going to do that. But I actually spoke with somebody that I needed to fill in before I ran. And so, or before I announced, that way they were prepared. And from a conservative side, and was actually raised with a lot of those, not raised, but in the recent years, tons of conspiracies, just things that are, you can find out pretty quickly they're not real, but because there's so much information, I think people get sick of it and they don't dig when you could, look it up. But there are both sides to it. And so it's hard to see what's reality and what's fiction. And then, so anyway, I had this conversation with somebody that I didn't think was going to be supportive, but did need to know that I was going to run. Mm-hmm. And they were really receptive and actually started asking me questions. And I was able to help take away some of those conspiracy theories and open up the mind. If you soften your heart, if I show that I care about people, if we are in the community doing this good work, then I feel like their ears will be opened. And that way we can get to talking about this. You have to show it first so that people are willing to listen. If I if I just scream into the wind about all the things that are important to me, they're just going to turn their ear off, right?
Yeah.
But if we show up, then they will listen. And it's really neat to see some things, because when we grow up, we're taught things from our parents and subconsciously, and just from the way they act, or extended family. And then when you grow up, you kind of get to ask questions and say, maybe this doesn't align with what I really think. And this person is young and was able to say, wow, that's not what I've ever heard. And so it was so exciting to me to leave there and go, oh my gosh, there's hope.
I think that your listening tour is going to be eventful.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And yeah. I mean, I think also folks are curious just to sort of hear more about your district and how it may have changed over the years. One thing, I know I didn't know this before, but Forsyth County, which is that right? Is much of the district? Okay. So Oprah.
Well, it's nearby.
What's that?
It's around the area.
In the area in Northwest Georgia. So from what I understand, well, I looked up the video. It's incredible. Going back like in the 80s, Oprah traveled to Forsyth County and did an episode of her show early on in the Oprah Winfrey Show. And it was about how, Black people had not lived in the area in 75 years. And what we've been hearing so much lately, though, Holly, is about how much Georgia's changing.
Mm-hmm.
I know that in my lifetime and around the suburbs where my parents live now, I mean, they've just become so much incredibly more diverse. That is something that suburban voters are valuing about their communities, and it's changing Georgia. Mm-hmm. How are you seeing that? Is that a change that's happening in Northwest Georgia as well? Like, what's going on in your corner of Georgia?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because there is a perception because our representative is acting so hateful. Right. I think there's a perception in around the country possibly that we are all like that because so many people voted for her. And like you said, though, she didn't have an opponent because of her nasty antics, and so he had to leave the state. But we're not like that at all. We are very rural, but rural doesn't have to mean regressive. And so we do things a little slower here. And
that sounds kind of nice, to be honest.
I know, I like it.
Tell us, yes.
I like it, but just Stacey Abrams, the work that she did took a long time. And so it is changing. And I think that Georgia is showing the United States, like all the other states, wow, this can be done. Because for Georgia to turn blue was just shocking, but it wasn't shocking to her. She did the work for so many years. So that wasn't a shock to her. It was just time. And so it is happening. And I am so excited to be a hand in that, to bring Northwest Georgia up, bring that good change all the way up here to the line, because it's going to be a lot of hard work, and it's not going to happen instantly. Yeah. But I mean, honestly, we're in it to win. We are in it to win. And that's just my personality. But the work that we're going to do to be able to win is going to genuinely change Georgia.
Yes.
If I lose, I'm not losing. This is for our kids. This is
the work. Yeah.
This is the work. And so it's a no lose situation, right? So either I win and I go to Congress, or I win and I stay home and continue my life and whatever else comes after. But Stacey didn't win. Stacey didn't win in 2018, but she's changed Georgia.
That's right.
I'm excited to be a part of that.
Holly, can you tell me about the moment that you decided, I'm going to run against Marjorie Taylor Green? Like, that it went beyond, just the noise and that decision. And I think it's important to zoom in on that moment, because I think that a lot of women have a little bit of that voice in their head, whether it's running for office or just doing something big, What was that moment like for you, and what might some of the rest of us take from it?
Well, and it was exactly that. It was an inkling for a little while. It was a secret in my mind. I'm going to show you. Hold on. I've got it taped to my desk. Get off. I'm going to rip it. Okay. I made a Post-it note and I taped it to my desk when this was a secret for me so that my husband didn't know, my kids didn't know. I didn't want to upset anybody. And I just kind of, manifesting, is that what that is?
Yeah, it is. That's
I
what
wanted to make it a little bit more real in my head. And so it was kicking it around for a long time. It was knowing what I would want to do, that's how you serve. And I mean, for me specifically, it's this. But I got to take my watch off. My phone is ringing. It's driving me nuts. And it's now ringing on my arm. I think that, like you said, a lot of us kick things around for a while. And just because the world has told us we're not worthy, or I'm not a lawyer, or I'm not a whatever, that I am not capable of doing this. And so I'd been kicking it around a long time. And then on January 6th is when or 16th, the insurrection. What am I misspeaking?
The 6th, you got it.
6th. Okay, God, I started doubting myself immediately.
What are you, a woman or something?
I know. Doubting. Yeah. So I saw that and I was like, this is not America. This cannot be real. I know a lot of us have been saying that for 4 years. And repeatedly, oh my gosh, repeatedly saying that to myself. But then because I had been kicking it around and I had written that Post-it note and I'd done some digging on like, what does it actually entail? Can I afford to do this? Will the family be okay? Like all of those things that as moms, we have to plan first, right? We have to make sure everybody will be okay. And so then when January 6th happened, I said, okay, forget it. That's it. Like there's no option. There's no other option. Why in the world would I wait around for someone else to step up and fix this? And it isn't just fix, we talk about fixing things for America, but that was right then. Yeah. It was clear. And we've got Marge representing us. And then this mess happened with people that are acting just like she does. And it's because hate and division had been sown so every day for 4 years. And so that day did not happen in a vacuum. That was a buildup. And that's what happened. And so we have to have leadership that is representative of our values of taking care of people and first, and so that was it.
I love that. And 2 things. I love that you call her Marge.
I'm not saying that in
Our name is, oh gosh. There she goes again, Marge. And I also love how you stepping up, it sounds like has encouraged so many other women around you and in your community and your district to rally and step up too. And that is the one thing, ladies, I hear over and over again with women who decide to run for office. It's like everybody comes in and surrounds and lifts her up. And it feels like, is that what's happening with you, Holly?
Yes. Yeah. We have a ladies group. We have a joy list. It's like 10 of us. And I joined it 2 weeks before I announced, 2 weeks before, and I'd been kicking it around. My cousin added me, and just changing that focus. I didn't realize how depressed I was from COVID and from working at home. And it's just,
we are all there. Yes.
Yeah. I was just kind of numb and I wasn't being fulfilled. I wasn't lifting anyone else. And so I was just kind of meh. Netflix and chill all the time. And so like work, Netflix and chill and feed the kids sometimes. And they're old enough to feed themselves. So they don't starve. Don't worry. But to have the focus change to where we needed to pull out something that gave us joy that day and then share it. And I swear on the second or third day, doors just started opening because we were focusing on that instead of all this other stuff, right? And so it has been opening doors for a lot of us in that group. It's not just
that is so important, Holly. That is such an important message. We have to share that joy together and lift each other up, even and most importantly, in those times, like this
Yes.
shit show we're all living through right
When we don't feel like it, when
Right,
it doesn't seem like there's any joy. And I mean, a couple of days it was my mocha coffee that was really pretty, and I got the froth right, and it's really bad for me, and I love it.
That sounds
and
amazing.
seeing, bigger things. So
yeah, very cool. Okay, all right. Before we bring on a few ladies to debrief on all of the excitement that you've shared, I've got my rapid fire closer questions. Are you ready, Holly McCormack?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. Here's your grilling. Okay. A piece of advice that you would give your teenage self.
Don't doubt yourself so much. Don't spend less time doubting. I've always gone big. God help my mother. But I did spend a lot of time doubting myself. I spent a lot of time with body image issues. That would be it.
Good advice. Your favorite guilty pleasure?
Chocolate. Dark chocolate, whipped cream.
Little salt in there. So good.
Oh, yeah.
Your secret hidden talent, Holly?
I don't think I have a secret one. I'm pretty loud about stuff.
I mean, I Googled you and it went a little bit on YouTube and happened to see.
Yeah.
You are a good singer, okay? I'm just going to say that. You have a beautiful voice. I can't wait to see how this becomes a part of the campaign, especially when we can all get together.
You answered this to me. I'm going to interrupt your rapid fire because I really have been thinking on it. Like early on, my team doesn't know this. Maybe I told them. Does anybody want their congressperson or somebody running for Congress to sing? Because it's like, why wouldn't I sing a great song? But I don't know if that's something that people would enjoy. What are your thoughts?
I know that I would enjoy it. And so you should do it.
Okay.
Also, I mean,
like not the whole concert, but just one song.
We are done with the cookie cutter politicians.
Yeah.
Okay? We are done with that. I think it's hollyforcongress.org. Actually, we got to correct that.
It's actually Holly, the letter or for FOR, and then congress.org. Yeah.
Hollyforcongress.org. Let's get that up there correctly so people can go learn more about your campaign. They can donate. People are wanting to do these things. I saw in comments somebody put up an ActBlue link as well. So go do that, y'all. I know you want to. I don't even need to ask. Like, you're just doing
Join it.
Yes.
Join us.
Exactly. But so your focus group is unanimous, actually. Like, yes, you should sing on the campaign trail.
Excellent. 100%. Done.
Other people weigh in comments. Let us know. Holly has an amazing singing voice. She, gigs locally. And I'm also super biased because I have done that too in my past, Holly. So awesome. Perhaps when things are safe, I'll, come down and we'll duet,
Yes.
All right. My last question before we bring on the other ladies is just one thing that is giving you hope right now, because we need it.
The other women. I love lifting people. It gives me energy. That is my fave, is training leaders and growing leaders and seeing their life change. And so seeing women get so fired up by something that I didn't intend. I didn't go into this thinking, oh, I'm going to, whatever for women, but to see other people light up. And you said it, in 2020, the representation that we're seeing changed. The more people of color, LGBTQ plus, it's neat. It is neat to see a panel of women and, everybody, that it's not just old white men anymore, that it's 25% women in Congress, I think is what it is. And we are more than half of America. That's nonsense. And we're pretty great at stuff, right? Like, we know it around our house. Things are better if I do it. So why aren't we running this country?
Yes.
So the women are giving me hope.
I mean, I have nothing more to say after you have said everything.
Why aren't we running the country? That's it. I have nothing else to say on the campaign trail. That's all I'll say.
That's it. Oh, Holly, it is such a pleasure to meet you. I'm going to bring on a few other women who are going to have a chat. But let's say hi to them. Julie, and who else you got with you tonight?
Julie and Lisa and Karen. So And I'm just going to say that it looks like the poll was 100% you should sing. So
oh yes,
Katie was right.
It was unanimous.
Yay!
I assume that what Katie says you can sing, because that might be memorable and that might not be good if you cannot, but it sounds like you can sing really well. Okay.
I think she should sing. I think you guys should do 9 to 5.
Oh,
I just had Dolly Parton written on my board.
yes.
Georgia
I've got to
girl
call
here,
Dolly.
Holly.
Yeah, Lisa's a Georgia girl. Yep.
Yay!
Not your district, unfortunately, but Georgia girl.
That's okay. We're all going to do it together.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm good boots on the ground if you need me.
Yay! Definitely.
That's so good. All right, Karen, Julie, Lisa, it's so good to see you as always. And Holly, thank you for being with us. And good luck out there. And let's keep sharing that link in comments so everybody can support you. It is so cool that you are a part of our community. And the women are going to show up.
Awesome. Thank you,
for being
ladies.
here tonight.
Well, hi, ladies. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks. Good to see everybody. I'm going to start with Lisa, since you are the Georgia lady that is here. First of all, just introduce yourself and say hi. And then I was just going to ask you to kind of tell us, since you're in Georgia, like, what's the vibe that when people have announced that they're running against Marjorie Taylor Green, what's the reaction in Georgia to that? Is that like a lot of excitement or?
I can't hear you, Julie.
Oh, you can't hear me? Can Karen and Julie, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
There.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Now I can.
You can hear me now. Okay, awesome. All right, Lisa, I was asking just to introduce yourself, number one, but I was also going to just say, so people are stepping up to run against Marjorie Taylor Green, and I wonder what the reaction in your state was to that. Is that an excitement, or how are people reacting?
Oh
no, we've lost Lisa. I was really worried that was going to be me, you guys, because my Wi-Fi's been cutting out all night. But
I can hear Julie Collins, but I can't hear you, Julie Womack.
Oh.
Julie, want to ask that question?
Sure. What she was asking was, what's the feeling can you hear me?
I can.
What's the feeling in Georgia with people stepping up to the plate? Are people excited or?
Oh, my people are excited. I don't know how excited the Republicans that are trying to suppress us are, but we're excited. I think it's going to work out. I think we have enough momentum going. If we can just get everybody where they're supposed to be, I think that's going to be the thing. I don't think we're going to stop anything that's going on in Atlanta right now. I think it's going to go. But we just have to have more people willing to take people and get IDs. Now's the time to, if they're going to act stupid, now's the time to make sure that everybody can vote. Because that's the plan, is to not have everybody vote. If everybody votes, Holly McCormack wins.
100%. Yeah, and I'm so excited. Yeah, so I'm so excited that the House has passed the HR 1 today, that we have some voting rights stuff coming our way. Hopefully, we'll see what happens in the Senate. But all right, Karen, say hi, introduce yourself. I'll
Hi. I'm Karen. I live in Ohio. I have 2 teenage boys, and I follow all this very closely. I'm really excited for all of you in Georgia. I wrote postcards in the past. I'll write postcards again. I'll do whatever it takes. We are here. We are with you, Georgia. I'm with you there in spirit, Lisa. I just want to do everything I can. Holly seems great. She's got so much good energy, and I'm just really excited, and we can't get her out. We can't get Marge out soon enough.
I agree.
Right.
I wish I was this. I don't usually wish that I'm in another district, but I wish I was in her district to help more than I'm going to be able to help from where I am. But I have a friend.
You'll find things to do, I'm pretty sure. I have no doubt about that.
I try.
All right, Julie Collins, you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Julie Collins. I also live in Ohio. I have 3 adult children who actually live next door.
That's the dream.
Mine are 3 miles and 7 miles away, so I'm with you.
not like right next door, like the house next door.
That's awesome.
Well, I was going to say, so Lisa,
It
we do.
really is. I adore my kids. I love my kids, and we're going to have a lot of fun this summer because our backyards are open and adjacent to one.
Oh,
But I'm always very excited when women step up to the plate and run. I've been an elected official myself, so I know the energy and the everything that it takes to do this. And so, it's very exciting to me, and I'm excited about all of the different groups across the country that are pushing women and women of color to run for office and be a part of the conversation. One of my favorite sayings is, if you are not at the table, you're on the menu. So it's time to take us off the menu.
Yeah.
And have us sitting at that table. And if they won't give you a chair, bring one.
that's right.
So,
I don't mind standing.
I'll
stand right over you.
And then somebody in the comments, Anita said, for when getting back to the singing piece, that she ought to sing patriotic songs to confuse Marge. So
There you go.
Funny.
Yeah.
ABCs would confuse Marge, honey.
Yeah, maybe to confuse like some voters too, who think like, that Democrats don't know patriotic songs or something.
Yes,
Maybe,
absolutely.
Confusing. Well, I was feeling for Georgia because obviously the district that she is going to be running in is very, very red district. And I know Karen Weckstein and I live in a very, very red district. So I know you probably felt that pain, Karen. But I liked the whole win-win. I think I related to that. I was wondering what Karen thought, because we kind of feel that way here in our district, where we're trying to just happy with moving the needle and we're making progress, right?
This year did feel like we won a little bit here in Ohio, whereas in the past, it just felt like we were pushing this boulder and it wouldn't budge. But I feel it moving, and I feel it moving everywhere. And we've got momentum and we have excitement, and we just got to keep that going.
Yeah.
If Georgia can turn blue, anywhere can turn blue.
Yeah. Right.
It's just we're just gonna have to continue to do the things we've been doing, engaging, our suburban sisters and getting them involved, and, keep educating our circles, talking to our friends, talking to our neighbors, talking to our family members, and just letting them know, what's important, and that our values are important. And, that a lot of these people say one thing, do another. They don't really represent us at all. Here in Ohio, we've got Mandel, Mandel, that's what his name is, Mandel, Josh Mandel. We got him to worry about, because he's really out here posturing and flexing. And I just want to really tell him to go sit in the corner with gum on his nose. So, we've got work to do here as well. But, again, the thing I'm going to say to everybody again is that this November, when we're talking about our local elections, our, commissioners, our city councils, our mayors, whatever your local folks are, your judges, those races are critical because they set the stage for what we will do next year with these congressional races, and then again with the presidential race, race in 2024. So, we really have to continue to build on that momentum.
And we need to be engaging young people.
Yes.
Because your high school seniors this year will be able to vote. Most of them, just by statistically, will be able to vote in the midterms. I've got one of my girls is on TikTok a lot, and she said, "Mama, that's what y'all need to be doing. Y'all need to have somebody willing," and Katie would be perfect, to go on TikTok and just engage people, because that's where all of the teenagers to 30-somethings are all on TikTok.
Yeah, they are.
And
that's a great point. That is such a great point.
TikTok and those kids helps Georgia.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a big philosophy that we try to do with like reaching out to women in the suburbs and in our demo is you have to kind of go where your people are, right? So women, I'm going to age myself, although I think we're all around the same age range. But, like we live on Facebook, right? Like, that's our generation. But the younger people are more on the Instagram or TikTok. So you definitely have to have that range.
She asked me about Sweep. Were we on TikTok? And I was like, I don't think so. But that's all she does is politics on it. She doesn't, do the dancey stuff and all that. She has watched everything happen through George Floyd to now, to the insurrection. Everything was streamed, basically. And it's a really good way to get to that age group. So maybe Holly, since she's a singer,
there you go.
Her on
That's
TikTok.
a great idea. That is a great idea.
Yeah, and I like that you were like, you're ready to step up, Lisa, and like travel to her district. I do think there's a thing about what she was saying about women supporting other women, and I think we just step up for that kind of stuff more than anybody else. And seeing another woman, I just feel like there's the energy around that. It's amazing.
Right. People like Marjorie Taylor Green are a national disgrace. First of all, to be brutally honest, and she's terrifying. She's terrifying. And if you aren't scared enough to get up, because fear motivates most of what we do in our life. If you think about it, we let fear motivate us. But I'm motivated by fear. She needs to go.
Right.
She really needs to go. So whatever Holly needs, Holly can have.
Well, I remember, so Karen and I had a candidate who ran here a couple election cycles named Nikki Foster, who was a vet, and she was stepping up to run in our pretty red district. And Karen, you remember the reaction like women had to her candidacy? I was always inspired. We'd be handing out cards for her, like at festivals. This is before COVID, so we were allowed to go out in person. And I would see men who they would be like, what party is she? And you could see them walking away, but their wives would kind of be like, oh, like,
okay.
I don't know. I felt that right. I'm sorry, Karen, what?
I was just saying, strong women.
I just hope we've come to a place, because my husband's a Republican. He knew who he married. I've been myself for 37 years. We've been married 37 years. My politics will not change. If anything, he says I'm getting more liberal, but that's good. I mean, he's used to it. That doesn't have to stop people from voting. I think women forget that they don't have to vote the way their husband votes.
Yeah, my husband is also Republican.
Yeah, and we don't, we've had some discussions, but we've been married 37 years, so it's not anything unusual for us to have a discussion or two every now and then. So
I will say that my father always told me, because my family was pretty much Republican, although they've been disenchanted lately, I guess I should say is the best word, very disenchanted by Republican politics. But my father always told me that, as you get older, you'll get more conservative. And I agree, Lisa. I think I've done the complete opposite. I think I've gone extremely the other direction. So,
well, I was raised in a Democrat house, so he knew what he was getting because he met my mother before. So this apple didn't roll real far. I kind of hung at the bottom of the tree.
And I was going to say, and Julie, you've stepped up. You have friends that you've held office. You've had friends run for office. So I'm just sure you've seen the women behind all those ladies, helping and pushing those campaigns. So
absolutely. Absolutely. I made history when I was appointed into office. My best friend made history when she and her cohorts were elected into office. And so, it did. It took. And it's funny because when I was running and doing all this stuff, my two very best friends in the world were like, I don't know why you do this. I can't. But they were there for me, Now one is the president of her village council and the other one serves on her city council. And I'm the one who's not elected anymore. So it's just really it's just funny how the circle of life just keeps going. And now my daughter is actually looking into, possibly running. So, I'm ready to just, pass that torch. That's fine with me, and just going, because I think that's really, like what we need to be doing is starting to really, we've been watching a lot of our legends leave the planet lately. And so my thing has been that it's time for us, those of us who are over 50, it's time for us to step up and step into their shoes and bring the young ones along with us. So
Yeah.
I've told the story probably to all of y'all about my mom. This was the first general election that I can recall, and I'm 56, that she didn't work the polls. She's always, that's her thing. And she didn't, she couldn't. She had a pacemaker put in and a couple of years ago and in between, and she just didn't think her, she just knew she couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And so I was talking to her and I said, Mama, are you good with that? And she goes, yeah, I'm good with it. She said, yeah, I did it all those decades and all those elections. I've seen a lot of presidents be elected and local elections, and now it's time for you to get off your ass and do it.
Well,
she's not
I
wrong.
like the fact that Julie's daughter wants to run, and I like the fact that Lisa's daughter is following politics on TikTok. So we're going to tell them, get on TikTok, encourage the young people,
yes.
And we're going to keep moving women up this ladder and getting more and more women into office. That is our goal. I want to thank everybody for coming and doing this panel tonight. I appreciate your time, and I'm glad Lisa could finally hear us. So
I know, and I fixed. Now it'll never happen again because I know what it was. It should
okay, good. We've helped you out too. So, all right, everybody have a great night, and
it was nice to meet you, Karen. Good to see you.
Bye, guys. Nice to meet you.
Bye.